Penis.
God damn you. Just as we were going live.
I gave you 10 seconds of silence.
Yeah. Fuck you. Um, Today's Unsolicited Opinions podcast is brought to you by Smegheads, with Smeghead in charge, Dr. Evil. Welcome, everybody. I am your host, the
Voice from the
Meerkat Monarch.
dwarf.
Oh, yes, I want to talk about the dwarf. With us today is, as always, Dr. Evil, our dear leader, and Articous Ira. Astojap is back, and also we have a returning guest. Uh, Roy Kalbeck is here.
And guest starring Mike Colin.
Yes, we've been listening to it already, so
It may chime in for commentary every now and again.
yeah, good. We got well, it's been a quiet week, somewhat of a quiet week. Relatively quiet week. I haven't been paying too much attention to bullshit because I've been doing my taxes all week, collecting receipts and shit like that, so I've been really paying attention. But there have been a couple of things that I've sort of noticed. And I don't know where you guys want to start, but I guess to wake Artemis up, because he just got out of bed.
Jigglypuff?
Yeah, Trigglypuff.
Jigglypuff, yeah. Let's trigger Artemis.
We got to trigger
The
Artemis.
internet's newest meme superstar.
That's the thing. You guys don't have to deal with like disgusting roly-poly social justice warrior bitches like this. Like America has the fat ones. Like we have like these. Like when I tell people,
We have the obesity epidemic, remember? So who's going to be the most?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's countries that have caught up to us and are just as bad now, which is what's funny, because social justice kind of spread it. And social justice is a carrier for the obesity epidemic.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But like I love that this happened because they needed a mascot. Like Big Red was nice and everything. Big Red was only for feminism.
Yeah.
Like she didn't represent, any of the other special interest groups.
She was also obviously a persona. She looked the part of somebody who was playing the part. This is somebody who's authentic.
Yes, she is social justice encapsulated in one gif perfectly. Only enough effort to last about 5 seconds.
Yeah, because that's all she could manage.
Yes.
She ran out of breath and needed to rest.
It's perfect because you like when you tell people that social justice warriors exist and they're this thing and they're like, yeah, whatever, but you don't have an example.
It sounds so extreme, You describe what you've seen and people go like, you're making this shit up.
Yeah.
But now you have a
like,
Wikivid to show them.
No one can be that dumb.
Well, it's like
have a look at this.
Yeah, it's like the Darwin videos where you see somebody do something incredibly stupid, you would never believe it until you saw it.
Yeah. And
what?
Sorry, and it reflects very well what that movement have become. It has become sort of crying, whining, very. I mean, from a historical point of view, very fucking privileged people. I mean, being obese was seen as a sign of opulence in in every part of society apart from our modern day. So
It still is.
Yeah, it still is.
Had
It
enough
still
food to
is.
get fat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of this typical whiny bullshit that ends up with it looks
And at first,
really bad. Yeah.
at first, I was like, like when it first started, me being, and at first it was empathy for me because I was like, listen, she's just this random chick in the crowd.
Yeah.
She may not be this crazy social. She may have just been pulled into this bullshit. And then I saw her profiles,
And he's
and I was
taking the
like,
shit.
this like, holy shit! Like any empathy for this woman just washed away. Like she couldn't be more of a stereotype. Like when people were posting images of the patriarchy comic,
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God,
they were
you know.
literally exactly the same, and her personality was exactly the same, and I don't want to be with anybody who isn't okay with what I look like. And I'm like, well, you're gonna have to wait a while, because even chubby chasers have fucking standards, dude.
Climb every mountain.
Yeah, but when the mountain's a molehill
that's
and
no
you
moon,
get
it's
run
a
out of
space
breath
station.
making it to the top, it's not much of a mountain, is it?
No, that's the thing. There are chubby chasers. There are men who like women who are that size, but even they would look at that chick, and it's not even about the size. It's just everything else is disgusting
I have
as well.
What's
known a
inside?
woman-
To be
I
honest,
have known a woman who is a genuine black earth goddess type, and I mean, she's got the weight, but she carries it well. She's got vibrance and vitality, and she doesn't blame anybody else for it.
She's not a bitch.
She's not a bitch.
Yeah.
though. She's
yeah, I
like,
mean,
"Well,
it's her
something because
personality
I'm
which
fat."
is ugly, not her body. I mean, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
That's
she's
just
it's
a coincidence that the outside matches the inside.
Yep, it is. And
Like the crayon drawings. Like I lost my shit when I saw that picture of her with the crayon drawing, and it just says autism at the top. I couldn't stop laughing.
it just oh
Did you see the whole video though?
I saw the whole video.
I
If you
didn't
pay
see
attention-
that. I
if you-
just saw the minor
Okay.
clips and so on.
If you pay attention, she is the one that's doing 90% of the disruptions. She is the one who is
Yeah.
screaming over everybody else. She's the one that is being told you need to stop acting like a child. She's the one who's picking a fight with cops on the second floor
And-
before
and
things start.
Did you see the conspiracy theory on Ghazi about it? Oh,
Oh, no,
Milo paid
seriously?
her to come in and disrupt.
I
Is that an
really
example?
even
No, her profiles is super old. It's not,
even
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's
Ghazi
that's why it's a
crazy
conspiracy
she
theory,
is.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's just crazy, and she is just vulgar, and I mean, yeah,
Just rolled out. I mean that's
yeah. I
the
mean,
fattest.
you just lost. If that person is on your side, you just lost.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's a thin line between overdone self pity and that sort of almost justified rage because people, the cool people don't love me. And
Somebody was
it's-
saying, I'm sorry, go ahead. I have a bad time to
Oh no, it's everything about her. She justifies like she's the type of person that needs social justice. Otherwise, she can't justify just how horrible she is. Like this is someone who if there wasn't something like social justice would either fix themselves or just not really like involve themselves in society.
Yeah, I was actually
They-
talking with somebody about that earlier. We were hoping that this amounts to an intervention for her. I'd
Oh,
like
hell
to see her
no.
get shit together. No, I would. Really
That isn't
like
gonna
to see-
happen.
I would like to see it.
She
That's
has
all.
cry-on autism pictures, dude. She is too far gone.
I have this
What?
weird faith
Wait,
in
what?
humanity and this
Wait.
crazy optimist, you know?
Wait, she has
You
other
haven't
opinions?
seen that, Osto?
No.
I've seen it. I've seen
Like
it.
she has like the crayon drawing on the wall. I don't know if she did the crayon drawing on the wall, but she's holding this picture with like a squiggly crayon drawing. You really can't make out what's on the bottom, but at the top of the drawing is just autism in crayon.
I think it's something along the lines of don't make autism acceptable. Don't try and find a cure for it or something.
Oh no! Oh, that is her?
That was it. Yeah.
That is her?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that person. Holy shit.
Osto's like, she ain't my people.
No, that's the fucking most retarded bullshit. It's like, yeah, please don't cure cancer. No, just accept that you're gonna die. It's just, I mean, autism is not a nice thing to have.
Osto's triggered.
Yeah. I mean, how fucking stupid. I mean, if they come with, yeah, autism is just a alternative way of living, and yeah, I'm
Jesus,
autism
fuck, don't
sexual,
start me
by
on
the way, and autism gender, and
See, that was the thing. I felt sorry for her until like that stuff started rolling out.
no,
Because when something like this happens to a
sorry for
person,
her. I mean, if you sit your fucking ass into a lecture and cry profanity and just lose it, yeah, you're gonna be a fucking meme on
maybe
the
she has
fucking
Tourette's
internet.
too.
God damn it. I mean,
It was that kind of thing where
Yeah.
there's always a bit of me that's like, this person is now super internet famous and freaking trending on fucking Twitter.
I mean, you are at a fucking event with people who are internet famous. So, and try to disrupt it. Guess what you're gonna be? Internet fucking famous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you wouldn't you wouldn't put it past some of these people to actually do it on purpose. Actually act that way on purpose to get attention, because you can if
I
you
wouldn't be surprised.
no, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, the thing is that if you disrupt a meeting in that way with people who are famous for putting shit out there, you know you're gonna get attention, and then you can cry your Patreon dollars as much as we want.
Yeah, and
Nobody's gonna give her money.
blame the patriarchy.
Why would anybody give Brianna Wu
Like
any
even,
money?
like you said, Gazi's immediate reaction was, "Oh, that's a paid troll. That's not real. That's not reality." Deny. Like they double. Like that's the thing. Like Social Justice Warriors always double down, and she's like the first time I've seen them just back away slowly. Like we don't claim that.
Oh
Like,
no, radicals in general always double down. They always go for the most
reaction to
extreme
this-
version. So
My
Yeah,
first
look
reaction
at-
was like, somebody did a really shitty rip of Fifth Element here.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at Melissa Click. Idiots always double down.
yeah, I mean
It's just,
she's
this is the first time I've ever seen them just back away. Because you could, like, normally, like, when something like this would happen, you would see a bunch of people on the hashtag trying to defend her, trying to call her a hero, and all of this stuff, and damage control, none of that shit.
It's the Homer Simpson meme where he's backing into that.
yeah.
Like, nothing but mockery.
Yeah, and
Nothing.
it shows how silly the movement has gotten when some of the radicals on that side of just, okay, we just saw crazy. We just witnessed crazy. But they still don't get that it's a result of their own idiotic behavior.
You know there's a military term for a similar situation like that, right? It's called seeing the elephant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want an explanation of this.
I don't.
Of what? Seeing the elephant?
Yes. Yeah.
goes-
Well.
Okay, that goes back to the ancient days when elephants were first introduced to war, and horses would freak and troops would freak at them. So the idea of seeing the elephant is your troops have seen combat for the first time and realized, oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. They've seen the elephant, and she has a name called,
Prigglypuff.
I'm
I'm waiting for this.
I feel like somebody might get triggered by you using elephant and the name of an obese person in the same
I
sentence.
hereby apologize to any, I apologize to any pachyderm kin out there.
Listen. You gotta manage your own. You gotta manage your community. I mean, there might be some elephant furries out there, or elephant.
I'm just surprised she wasn't called Triggerlax. Like I didn't think Jigglypuff when I saw her. I thought Snorlax from the get.
Yeah, but Snorlax is too relaxed for this shit. I mean,
At
This
the
is
very
true.
end, where she runs out of power, yeah, she's gonna.
Yeah, where she flails, it's like she's flailing in her sleep.
yeah, and she managed to just do that 3 seconds, and then she's exhausted. Oh man!
But that was going in spurts. If you watch the video, like she couldn't keep it up,
yeah. Can
and
we
she
now
would do it
change
for like
the
3
subject
seconds, and
to
then
something less retarded.
We got a lot of retarded shit.
because the whole all right, what's so funny about this shit in the first place is it's the same thing that's been going on over and over again. A group decides to have a conversation about free speech and how it's being silenced. And of course, idiots show up to try and silence said speech, proving their point.
Yeah. Did you see? Apparently, people who wanted to see Donald Trump got pepper sprayed.
Yeah,
And they
that
actually-
that
Oh yeah,
is-
the little
that-
girl was pepper sprayed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually hit a fucking little girl with pepper spray. Are you fucking? I mean, yeah, that shit's actually making me angry.
And
I
that
think-
was because her parents were at a Trump rally.
Yeah, and these
Yeah.
were even no. I don't think you should do it with either child, but
No.
these were children of color. For fuck's sake, how these racist
Yeah.
dare to spray them?
Yeah, but it's double the
The
anger.
progressive stack
It-
only matters unless the progressive stack only matters if you agree
It's
with
only,
me.
If-
it only
if-
matters if you have the right.
No,
color.
but they see it in this way, okay? They see these as black people fighting on the Confederate side. They are race traitors in the eyes of the Trump protesters. It is exactly
the
this.
protesters are essentially racist.
Yeah, they are, because they can't see. It's the same thing with the. I can remember there was an argument with between a black guy who supported Trump and a bunch of Trump protesters, and he kept saying, I want to create my own life. I want to make my own decisions. That's why I support Trump.
You need to be woke.
Yeah. And
That's what they kept yelling at him.
and allowing people to make their own judgment is exactly what freedom is about. You do not class people in by race and say you need to vote this way as a black person. I may not support Trump on anything. Jesus Christ, I'm a Norwegian leftist. I don't necessarily think he's right about a lot of things, but when you take away the identity of people by policing what they should vote for, fuck you. Fuck you.
The
It's
progressive
anti-freedom,
stack
isn't it?
has they have punching up, punching down, and now it's punching sideways.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, how about stop punching, assholes?
yeah.
Exactly.
And pepper spray in all directions.
It's
Yeah.
it's exactly what happens when you get a radicalized system where nobody listens to each other, where everybody is in a fucking
Well,
screaming match. And
Kid,
that's,
wait till this
That's what
country
America's
collapses.
built on.
Yeehaw.
America's supposed to be built on freedom and your right to vote who you want to vote for.
yeah.
Oh, please. We have an electoral college. People don't actually vote for our politicians.
I know there's a bunch of nuance there, but you know, essentially, people should still have the right to vote for whoever they want, Even if it's, a member of the fucking KKK. I won't agree with it, but they have the right to vote for them.
Okay,
Oh,
as possibly the oldest fucker in the chat, I really got to chime in on this one. I've seen this going downhill in an ongoing spiral, particularly since the early 90s.
Yep.
When the Republicans took the House, the response of the Democrats were that Americans didn't understand what they were voting for. It was literal disbelief. They could not understand why Republicans had been voted into the House majority. They had been voted on essentially, in large part, Ross Perot's 1992 reform platform when they were talking about balancing budget, streamlining government, a lot of non-radical central fiscal conservative stuff, right? And the Republicans love to say nowadays, "Oh, we're still so fiscal conservatives," but this goes back to that root. And the thing is, the Democrats were like, "What are you voting for? You must be crazy. The voters must be crazy." This became the ongoing mantra. They started attacking Republicans, who started attacking back more and more personally. And this got this cycle of constant payback and revenge that's just been ramping up ever since, and nobody seems able to break out of it.
Yeah, and it's
been deadlocked since, and nothing has actually gotten done in that time, and that's pretty much the major problem. Is neither party stands for what it says it stands for anymore, and now it's just
they're all about beating the other guys.
And that include with a bunch of echo chambers when it comes to political opinions, just radicalizes the country even more. And
that's what led to this.
And
both groups ignoring their faults.
Two-party system.
Yeah,
this party is against what they say simply because they said because.
This is why Jigglypuff is perfect, because Jigglypuff
is the
brings everybody together, and nothing, nobody can claim that. It's this perfect being that disgusts everyone, and it's just, I love it.
Said. Well said.
Yeah, but it just as someone coming from a multiple, I mean, we have a parliamentarian system in Norway, so we have several parties, but that doesn't necessarily help with that kind of dialogue either. I mean, it's better in our country than I've seen in a lot of two-party system countries. But England doesn't necessarily have that kind of problem to that degree in England. They have more variety in the party system. I mean, they have socialists. They have. They still have a two-party system, but it's more diverse than.
I can't wait.
For the disaffected.
Yeah.
See, the RNC has a fucked up choice, and they're fucked either way. The RNC either supports Trump, a candidate they can't control, who is very anti them to begin with, who is only a Republican in name, or they screw him and don't give him the nomination and give the nomination to someone else.
Yeah, and the Democratic
literally
Party
be the hand that rips their political party apart.
Yeah, and the Democratic Party is no better off either. They have the leading candidate is someone no one fucking likes.
Oh, but no, she is qualified. I mean, for the president.
She has a
prison, probably.
No. She is.
Yeah, she carries around a bottle of fucking hot sauce, so that means she's fucking qualified.
I mean, no. But listen.
Did you guys see that clip?
She is a fucking political being.
Okay.
She breathes politics.
Basically,
she knows how to run this shit. But I don't fucking trust her. I don't fucking trust her.
This is the perfect example of why I've never trusted Hillary, and I don't understand anybody else just supporting her in general. She's sitting down with a bunch of black people to, of course, self-promote that, hey, I'm sitting with a bunch of black people. This is awesome, and she brings up that she carries around a bottle of hot sauce.
Oh.
See, that's the thing. This is obvious pandering, and it's so obvious that the black people sitting with her begin to laugh, because that's that's condescending as fuck, and they're taking it as a joke.
Yeah.
Articous,
And they say, and they flat out say that this is obvious pandering, and she's like, is it working?
Yeah.
That's a direct quote.
Can you tell me why Bernie Sanders is not popular with black people? Because I don't see Clinton Clinton is being popular.
He is. He's more popular with black voters than she is.
Yeah, but the
That's
problem
why
is
she's
that
pandering so hard
I've
with black
seen.
voters.
the DNC fucking the Democratic Party loves Hillary above Bernie Sanders.
The only people who like Hillary are the DNC and the people who are diehard Democrats that will follow the DNC off a cliff.
And rich people.
No, well, here's the thing. It's not just rich people. The reason for this is because the last highly popular Democrat president was Bill. And the reason that Bill was considered highly popular with the Democrats was he was very polarizing. In the middle of all these scandals, all the Democrats dug in their heels. This is part of what I was talking about before. The payback, the constant sniping going back and forth. They invested themselves so deeply emotionally into Bill that he became rooted politically. That's why they gave it to Gore. Gore wound up being the choice, not because he was the better candidate. You had better people in the wings of the Democrat Party, but he had been the beat carrying Bill's water for 2 terms. So he got the nod then.
And the condoms.
And but then you got Hillary, and Hillary's like, well, it's my turn because I was Bill's wife, and I'm deeply entrenched in the party, and I'm the one who's really running the books. I'm the one who's got
the president is mine.
Bill is not deeply entrenched in her, though. That might be the problem. I'm just making general dick jokes.
You have a point. But the whole point here is that she's the one who's got access to the money bags in the DNC and the context and all the schmoozing that was built up over all these years. Bernie is a guy from Vermont.
Yeah, and not only that, a social democrat. He is basically the quintessential. We had right after the war, we had a guy called Einar Gerhardsen who was we often referred him as the father of the nation, basically, because what he represented was hard work and working together to rebuild the society after the Second World War. And that is the vibe I get from Bernie Sanders a lot. But in our days, in our society now, the rich people would never support someone like that. The big donor would never support somebody like that.
And the thing is, I really like the feminists saying, vote for Hillary, when Bernie Sanders is probably the candidate they should vote for.
Yeah.
Like, ideologically, politically.
Have you ever heard of the term good old boy network?
They don't have any, so yeah.
What did you say?
Goes over progress, basically.
Have you ever heard of the term good old boy network?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be an American term for the shadowy guys who would keep racism going in the South. The good old boys. Well, both parties have that now. It's just for their preferred circles of friends and influencers. And Hillary's on the top of the heap in the DNC, and the Bushes, until this year, and Trump saying, fuck you, the Bushes were on top in the GOP. Now they're an embarrassment. I mean, Jeb has, 4 delegates after blowing $150 million in funding?
Oh, God. That's gotta clench your butthole on that, man.
How much did Trump actually spend on his campaign?
I don't think he spent.
He can't have spent a lot because
it's got to be less than like 10 million.
Isn't he getting like free exposure anyway?
Yeah,
all the time?
Basically, yeah.
He shows up and everybody fucking talks about
my
it.
My numbers are down. Okay, I called Hillary a cunt, a faggot, Oh, I didn't call her a bitch yet. Yeah, let's call her a bitch.
Basically, that's what he does. He doesn't believe in any of the shit he says. He's just trying to make a hard sell.
You don't know which shit he's believing in and which not.
No, he doesn't believe any of this crap. He's a businessman. He's
3 times a fucking day. I mean.
All right. Do you remember Vacuum Salesman?
Yeah.
Oh Oh boy.
That's what Trump is. He's a vacuum salesman. He's a guy that comes to your door and will say any random
I like
crap
how
he
people,
possibly has to make the sale, to sell that
Vacuum
device to
salesman?
you to get your money. He
He's
does
just going to
not
the
care
door,
what
yeah.
he's saying.
how people think
How
Trump
does
is
Monica
actually
Lewinsky
doing.
fit
I
into
think,
this analogy?
Let's
Because
force.
she's the only one that sucks and people are okay with it.
Oh. Let's
I like how
force
people
as
Trump
many
actually
dick
something
jokes
to
we
say.
can down the throats of our listeners.
And I would just like to say, how in the fuck did Monica Lewinsky randomly get hot? Like, when did that shit happen? Like, she resurfaced and everybody was like, damn.
Because people's
Who?
standards have dropped. I mean,
No, she lost the weight.
oh, she did? Oh.
She's legitimately hot now.
Okay. Cool.
Like,
The
Reinvent
patriarchy.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'd
anyways,
rather vote for her over
Cyberbullying does
Hillary, to be
help.
honest. At least she puts in
Cyberbullying
work.
makes you beautiful.
we should also address the whole Frank Cho thing, because as a comic book fan, I
Shitty
fucking
segue.
Going from one set of hotties to the next.
oh god, I seriously don't get the okay, Evil, you can
You don't get
introduce
the
Evil, talk about it, because I'm just gonna be mad again.
Why hasn't eating breakfast?
Oh.
God damn it.
Hey,
No,
I kept
no.
my eating
Why are you
off
getting-
stream today. Fuck you, Evil, for not being professional.
Never
Hey,
interrupted
you're
us
the
in
one
the
who
middle of
needs
his
to start
patties and
it.
mash.
Yeah, Evil.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't
Look,
understand why
guy.
people are upset that people are coming after Cho. Because this is doing wonders for this dude's career.
Oh yeah.
Any publicity is good publicity, and and at this point, I don't care if he's genuine or just trolling people. It's entertaining either way, and it's good for business for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, buddy.
No, I'm sorry. I have a bad habit, like I said, of stepping on people. Kurtz
Is that a furry
essentially- Yeah, but I'm a unicorn. I trample everybody, and that's a terrible accent to roll with that. No, the thing is that Kurtz just nothing would be going on here if Kurtz wasn't acting the part of a church lady. Church is seriously, Church. I called him Church instead of Kurtz. He's seriously coming out and saying, comic books need to grow up. Fuck you. What the hell do you think a comic book is, you moron?
Comic books have been growing up since the frickin' 60s.
Yeah, and not only that, what kind of a person associates sexy hot chicks with kids?
Yeah, good point.
No, that's the thing. It's like nothing screams you're a fucking normie than thinking that kids read comic books. Kids don't fucking read comic books.
They don't read
Don't
anything.
read.
Okay.
This whole "you have to grow up" thing just reminds me of the C.S. Lewis quote, about putting away
Yeah.
childish things, including the fear of being seen as childish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're arrested in development. They're adult children, and they can't handle that someone might want to buy a comic book with a quote-unquote sexy drawing in it.
Yeah, and how can't we? I mean, if people want comic books to be accepted as art, which a lot of comic books can be said to be art, why wouldn't they want to have some treated as titillating?
Oh, come on.
It's not even that.
Just look at movies and TV. If they put a titty in it, they put an M on it, which is mature.
How is it that comic books would become more grown up and mature by becoming more prudish than any other art form?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Ask the religious right.
Exactly. He's acting like a church lady.
Yeah.
He's acting like the church lady from SNL.
Let's bring back the comic code.
No.
Fuck.
Oh, that is the worst part. Is
Bring
that
back censorship. Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
the worst part is that Kurtz doesn't see what he is demanding, what he is trying to enforce. It's under new guise of not under the but think of the children.
Your
sort of
side's already
arguments.
thinking of the children too much.
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
time to stop thinking
exactly.
of the children.
To consider the women's that are so insecure that they might consider this to be sexist.
So you're saying the women are unable to handle adult material? So comics need to grow up because the women can't handle grown-up subject matter?
It's like,
are you implying women are lesser than men? Because that's what I'm hearing.
You gotta love male feminism.
They do. The problem is they are on the one side body positive, and on the other side they say, "Oh, half naked."
They're only body positive when it's their bodies.
Them. And yeah, if you always have a freak out if you see some skin in a fucking commercial, or talking about Witcher here, or a comic cover, yeah, do you know what you get? Women who are not comfortable in their bodies.
The thing is,
and that is fucking natural.
When you boil the argument down to it, when you get in between the two positions here, the bloody positive and the it's too sexy, what it always boils down to, when you interrogate them, it's all, men might get aroused by it. And my response to that is, so?
Yeah, male sexuality demonized for the purpose of subjugating men.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this whole thing is that the people who come out with this, almost always, it's, you never said this shit before until somebody told you it was progressive to say this shit. You didn't come up with this on your own. This isn't your deeply held innermost political view or whatever, or social concept. Somebody told you, I'm offended by that. You went like, oh, that's one of my friends. I don't want to piss them off.
Lemmings.
Yeah, and it's weird that in a species that is propagated by sex, that we see one part of sexuality as being bad.
I call it Darwin because these people don't breed.
No, that is a very good point.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, but the problem.
I'm sorry, I don't think you could accidentally impregnate Trigglypuff, dude.
Oh.
Not
She had a wet dream and she rolls in it. There you go. Accidentally impregnation.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Imagine, Articous, imagine she slipped and fell on your dick.
Oh, she'd crush him.
I was gonna say,
her dick would look like a fucking pancake. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there might be still some.
The man would need a hip replacement.
Yeah.
No, it would be death by snoo. I would die from a crushed pelvis and just.
Yeah, but not in the
that's
fun way.
not going to cause an erection. That's just going to cause me to.
Can't be pregnant because of it.
No, I think even my sperm at a micro level would retreat from her, just from my psychic vibes.
Are you saying
even upon death?
A billion.
Are you saying she's a microaggression?
Yes, she would trigger my sperm.
Chinese sperm with little engineer hats going, nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
There'd be one guy. There'd be one sperm in the front, like it's a trap. Abort.
Yeah, and then the retarded sperm. What?
Yeah, but
the one autistic sperm.
but this is just classic solacing techniques, and it just bothers me a lot when I see. I mean, isn't Kurtz a cartoonist himself?
Yes, he is.
No. Yeah. The whole point is for him to get attention by trying to crush another artist.
Yeah, and it's
I don't think that's it.
He's trying to ride on the coattails by virtue signaling.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that's it.
Oh,
I
that
think the
is
whole,
just a sign of a less talented person when you can't.
He is a less talented artist.
Yeah,
he is
yeah, but
objectively.
yeah. But the thing is that I'm gonna use an example that I thought I was gonna save for the tagline podcast on Sunday, but. Here's the thing: if you take, for example, the evolution of British comedy in the 1970s and 80s, you see how the they always try to outdo each other by diverging out into a different field. So so they tried to establish themselves as the best people by being the best comedians, and that is what gave them the mark of eternity. Every time that you try to attack somebody by tearing them down, you don't fucking last. And I don't understand why creative people haven't seen this time and time again, and they don't see it at
Jen,
all.
they're called ideologues. Now, the funny thing about this is, what did they think was going to happen with Cho? Like, I was a fan of Cho even in the early knots and whatnot, before he was really famous. He was still super big on DeviantArt because he was doing pinup drawings of famous, DC and Marvel characters. That's how he got to where he was, because he had the Savage Land series, where he basically was doing Savage Land versions of every female character, which was just an excuse to rip the clothing of female comic book characters.
He
Like
was doing the plastic cheesecake.
Yeah, he got famous and got a career from starting that up in the first place. Did you guys think that he was gonna like turn on that and never do a sexy female character ever again, when the only reason he has a job in the first place and any kind of attention was because he laid into that in first? It's like, he's not Playboy. He has some freaking sense.
Gee, Mr. Kurtz, I never thought of it that way. I'll stop immediately.
Yeah, but it just
Oh, did they
bothers
sell off
me.
Playboy yet, by the way?
Oh no.
I think
You,
they're
you guys
trying
heard about
to.
that, didn't you?
I think they're still trying to.
Oh, where they're essentially emasculating Playboy because they say it's offensive to women. It's kind of like, what's the
No. See, no, you didn't hear what was going on. Was that basically Hugh Hefner's grandson? He was being molded by Hugh Hefner to take over the company because he was representative of what Hugh Hefner wanted to go with in the company. But he got pushed out by basically social justice warriors who basically shamed him out of the company for wanting the magazine to stay, the way it worked and made money. And so he left. He took his money and he walked away. And with him being gone, he was the only one keeping them from basically turning the magazine into what it is now. And of course, sales tanked.
Yeah.
Tanked. Absolute disaster, because the only people who were still buying the magazine were like 60, 70, and old elderly gentlemen who still remember the good old days and kept their subscriptions up out of just sheer habit.
Yeah.
And all of them canceled. And within, I think about, it wasn't even 6 months, it was like 4 months now, they're trying to sell Playboy and nobody wants to buy it.
Yeah, it's a dead property. It's not gonna. Yeah.
I actually remember seeing stock reports on the takeover where it was like recommendations from various brokers, and half of them were like, "Sell, it's going to tank," and the other half were, "No, it's going to greatly reinvent itself and improve. It can only go up from here." It's like, flip a coin and throw your money.
Yeah, it's like, it was clear that the half that were saying no, it's going to turn itself around were the people who were trying to get you to invest and trying to get you to, because they weren't doing well as it began with, because like it wasn't like everybody found out about the change and then taking out nudes, but the magazine had been heading in that direction for about a decade and a half, where it would just get more and more social justice warrior-y, like every other issue from what I hear from people, where people were ready to give up their subscriptions as it was, and then the no nudes thing happened, and it wasn't even so much that I want to see the titties. It's just like, what a way to slap the entire history of the magazine in the face.
Yeah, it's just it when they say they want to smash patriarchy, they basically talk about smashing all institutions, no matter what good or bad they have done. It's
No,
I mean,
they
the
don't want to smash
Playboy.
the
It's like
patriarchy.
it's
They want to
bad when Hugh
be the
Hefner's
patriarchy.
yeah.
The Playboy
it's
numbers
bad
have
when Hugh
actually
Hefner basically opts out and says, "Listen, I could be a mascot for another company. Just let me keep my mansion and keep me, and I can keep doing what I'm doing." And I like he's basically said, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Playboy anymore."
Yeah.
So I mean, the numbers are down. The numbers are down since like 2013, and yeah, I think they are still gonna go downhill, and soon the Playboy magazine won't be worth anything. Can we?
Well,
Can
only
we?
reason anyone read Playboy was for the articles, right?
Yeah. Can we discuss the
That's the
Witcher thing?
thing. That
No,
was
no.
an ongoing cultural joke for
Yeah.
freaking 60 years.
Yeah.
And now it's legit.
No, can we talk about the Witcher thing, because I want to go to bed after what's...
Yeah. Talk. Introduce
It's time
it.
for the ad, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you sitting there? I'm gonna talk about the greatest game ever.
Oh God. No,
My
Neo's
Little
better.
Pony.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yes, it is.
So Witcher, basically what they did is, I don't even think but GameSpot released an article about Cyberpunk 2077, and the Chinese rooms, which are the developers of Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, and didn't they do Amnesia also?
Walking
I
simulators,
believe so.
basically.
Yeah, I think Amnesia said, yeah, and they are still sexist because they had a scantily clothed woman on the picture.
Oh.
And I just want to get this out of my chest, because The Witcher is not a sexist game. The Witcher is a anti-sexist game. What you can do in The Witcher is you can have the secondary main female protagonist have a relationship with a woman, which, well, is progressive. You can crown the first female king or queen in that case, and you can even help like women emancipate, like from other people. I mean,
See,
this fucking game
the
is
thing that's funny
the thing
about
that
The
fucking
Witcher,
social justice warrior actually should want to have is they actually think about it,
they don't.
and would know and
You're
would be consistent in their fucking mindset.
Asto, you're trying to apply logic to
Yeah, I
ideologues.
try to apply
You're
logic.
just gonna drive
This
yourself
thing-
nuts,
This is the
and I
same
just want to
thing,
give
which
you a
we-
hug and rock you back and forth.
I just
No,
want to
just
inform
whisper
you
in your
guys
ear.
now that we
thing.
have female representation approved by the social justice warriors in the broadcast now.
What?
Okay.
I put a picture of women in burqa up in the left-hand corner of the broadcast.
Oh yeah. That's
No, here's the thing. Here's
wants a
Asto.
woman to be. Yeah.
Also, if you didn't notice, they didn't start really going after The Witcher again until now. They tried going after The Witcher when it first came out, remember?
Yeah,
And
but
nobody
the
was trying to
racism
listen.
thing-
No, nobody was trying to listen to it back then
Yeah.
because everybody loved how great the game was. And if you shat on The Witcher when The Witcher came out, everybody was just going to look at you like you were freaking retarded because it was such a great game. It was a war they weren't going to win. It's like trying to call out Grand Theft Auto 5 when it first comes out for sexism. Everybody's be like, no, I'm going to enjoy this amazing fucking game, and you're a fucking dick. They're doing this shit now that it's died down and they feel they can attack it publicly without
It will
backlash.
never have died down for us, though.
The problem is what they now do is revisionism. Is because they say, well, the Witcher was being deemed racist when it came out. So because like
As a point of one
what's it
article.
called? Musa said, "Oh, there are no people of color in this game," even though the first real NPC you meet is a fucking Arab dude. It's like
Well, Trigglypuff's mom was in it, the Sea Hag. I don't know why they're complaining.
yeah.
Oh, get ready, guys. It's going to be a running gag forever.
Yeah, but
Oh.
the thing is, I mean, this game is actually, yeah, if they wouldn't be retarded, and if they actually would understand what the deeper meaning
They can't
of
not be
games,
retarded.
like the actual meaning of games and the actual messages in games would mean. The Witcher has a anti-war, pro-equality message in it, which is
See,
actually pretty
what I
strong.
find funny
But
is if they hung out at the internet on the internet at all, they would know that whenever a video game comes out, and I don't care how not sexualized or sexualized the female characters are,
They will be sexualized.
yeah.
there's a group of people who directly rip the assets and make animated porn with the models.
Yeah, even if the female characters are fucking ponies.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Okay, something
And
that
there's-
needs to be pointed out on this, though, is that the whole point that these people have is they've got an industry going. It's about power, it's about money, it's about prestige. They don't get any of that for saying, you know what, this is a progressive game. They get it for screaming and carrying on and saying, you need to empower us to fight against this bigotry or homophobia or
Mhm.
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
it is
yeah,
they've invented.
Can I just point out,
Sure.
this is another developer studio's official email account saying The Witcher is sexist. This is not some retarded journalist saying that.
No, it's
So
a
that
retarded
is
developer.
directly a
It's a retarded
fucking
developer.
other dev. And that is what's actually pissing me off, because as a fucking developer, you can use your goddamn private account for this shit. But if you're using an official company account, then I'm assuming
was it?
that's the official position of this developer.
Who was
The
it?
email is still up, and that means that the developer has the fucking audacity
No,
to comment on the work of another developer.
Asto, which developer was it?
Training's room.
Chinese room.
What have they even done?
Chi-
Fucking obscure games and
Walking
what-
simulators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much
so
more
nothing
for
worth,
amnesia.
nothing of value was lost.
But it's the kind of thing that they would say to pitch, hey, we're on the right side of history to the kind of people who would buy walking simulators.
Oh, they made the Asta. Yeah, well, that is.
They could be just trying to garner attention in preparation for
Yeah.
a pitch of some kind.
Just like attacking Cho, it's like, hey, look at me. I have the opposite values. Support me.
Yeah. Support my
I
Patreon.
disagree with this other political position. Therefore, I'm better.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is. It's idiotic. It's
Self-serving. It's not idiotic.
Look at
It's
me. I'm better
self-serving.
than these people.
If it was clearly motivated to try and get attention and publicity for their product, I can't call it idiotic. I could call it self-serving and cold-blooded and
Yeah.
wrong, but at least I could respect their hustle.
Yeah,
if
but
they actually believe this bullshit, then that's just sad.
but here's the thing. If you want a long-lasting trademark, you don't do that. You do not hitch your fucking cart to a political horse if you want to make entertainment. That's
You
not the
think
point.
that's the only way you're going to publish, though. You think that's the only way you're going to make sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a last-ditch effort to not. It's a last-ditch effort when you have lost all faith that you can survive off of your own talented ability.
But you're excluding.
It's a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but you're excluding a big chunk of the market by demonizing them, by pointing at them.
The shit market isn't buying the product anyway. That's why it's a Hail Mary. It's like, we're fucked to begin with. We might as well go this route.
Yeah, I get that. And yes, I realize that these might be desperate people, yet still...
Well, not necessarily. I mean, Amnesia and Diasta were, I think, commercially successful.
Yeah, they were.
We have two warring concepts here, I think, in trying to figure all this out. Occam's razor, which is that the most likely thing is most likely what's actually the deal, and Hanlon's razor, which is don't ascribe to malice what can be better explained by stupidity. But we have
no, it's malice. No, that shit is malice.
Why not both?
Oh, by the way, Red Keld has discovered our secret formula for the podcast. Here's the argument, and then Articus says to Jan, "Stop throwing logic at it."
Because it's the truth. People keep trying to apply logic to people that are. If these people had any concept of logic or understanding,
but you know me, dude. You know that I'm always gonna try and find the logical reason. It drives.
See, you don't understand. You don't understand, Jan. Jan,
they are negative logic. They suck the logic out of the brain.
Jan, we are Pinky and the brain. Okay, we are Pinky and the brain, and I am Pinky. I may seem like I'm half dumb the majority of the time, but I say at the beginning of the episode what's going to happen, and then it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that I
Look, to crazy people, crazy shit looks perfectly logical. That's the thing. To every individual person, whatever they're doing seems right and justifiable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't do it.
It's like trying to understand someone who is mentally disturbed. You've got to be able to basically apply their logic, no matter how wrong it is, in order to understand them.
Speaking of crazy people, should we talk about the Hugo Awards thing?
This is going to be the greatest triggering ever.
I'm gonna go to bed, but I wanted to say, I think they are pretty gay this year.
And that's here with that.
And with that,
here's why I love the Hugo Awards thing, because they pulled that.
Good night, Asto.
See you, Asto.
They pulled that bullshit from last year where we're not going to put out an award because we don't want people that we don't like winning, right?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, nobody was publicizing or really gave a shit about the Hugo Awards. It really was just something for writers that happened, and nobody really knew about the Hugo Awards. They knew it, but it was like, oh, they did an award show. Nobody gave a shit. They made people give a shit.
Dude.
They made people that normally wouldn't have known about the Hugos or give a shit about the Hugos get involved. And they made people get involved that weren't ideologically aligned with them. That's why you have the people that are in it right now. And that's why it's so freaking hilarious, because they created the problem that they're now in. By acting like children and taking their ball and going home, they've made the situation so much worse. Because if they do it again, the same thing is going to happen.
You saw what happened last year that was kind of the turning point of everything, though, that really caused it to turn into an incredible shit pile?
Yeah,
I mean,
I watched that closely.
It was after the nominations. It was like the nominations come out, and then Gamergate. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You rang?
Yeah,
Me?
they tried to blame GG when we like had almost nothing to do with.
I went into the File 770 forums. I was like, look, I'm from Gamergate. You guys aren't even on our radar. You have nothing to do with journalism. You have nothing to do with games. But you people hate women in PLCs. And it just restarted that whole thing of like, you dumb motherfuckers. All you're doing is pulling us in here. We don't care, but you just gave us a reason to care.
It wasn't about Gamergate, but you made it about Gamergate. Well
the
done.
The only major GG person that was really involved with Sad Puppies and GG was like Daddy Warpig, and that's the only person that I can think of that even gave a shit in GG about it and talked about the issue. And
it
wasn't. And that's the thing.
It wasn't huge. It wasn't huge.
Yeah, they keep wanting to say that it was GG getting involved in this, and it's like, no, you made a lot of people who weren't GG just vote out of spite to hurt you, to show the corruptness of your system and why it's a joke to begin with.
And it wasn't necessarily the sad puppies rabid puppies thing that started it. I mean, I can remember the whole debacle with Orson Scott Card. Yeah, because he was a very, very. I mean, he sold a lot of fucking excellent author, and he sold a lot of books until somebody discovered that he had supported the anti-gay legislation in California, I think, or the campaign to stop the.
He was on the wrong side of history.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God, I hate that fucking phrase. That's when I started really paying attention to it, because I always enjoyed.
He got blacklisted over that effectively.
Yeah. He. I mean, it was kind of. I know using the phrase McCarthyism is kind of misleading in this case.
That's what it is. No, it's not. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Which one?
Yeah,
because
he'd never
known as Gamergate.
He'd never uttered like a homophobic, but he still, because of his belief, he supported the legislation against gay marriage, and
which I'd like to point out that I'm against that legislation.
Yeah, me too.
I'm tired of them destroying people's careers because like he never wrote anything homophobic. He never went into it. He never, like, I could see if that would reflected in his work at all, but it never did.
No, exactly, and that's
the issue.
That's what started catching my eye when it came to because I don't have to agree with a fucking writer to enjoy his writing. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with some of the Brothers Grimm's ideological stances back in the 1800s, but I enjoy their fairy tales from time to time. It's just
like they're attacking Kipling now that the Jungle Book came out.
Yeah,
but they already removed H.P. Lovecraft's image from the horror awards because of his racist views. The guy,
but that was a Lovecraftian award, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, it was a Lovecraftian award, and they removed his image from it because of wrong thing. That had nothing to do with his actual.
Revisionist history. Fuck off.
And what's entertaining is now they're in this really messed up situation. They either give these people that they can't stand the award, or do the same thing they did last year and make it worse.
Yeah. Because
that's what they're going to destroy the award. They're going to burn the village in order to save it.
Yeah,
it's like the U.S. military taking the city of Hue during Vietnam, which is where that saying came from. We had to burn the city to save it.
Actually, the scorched earth tactic has been used a lot throughout history.
But that
that phrase comes from that. Yeah. They actually,
Okay,
And that's what they're going to do.
yeah.
Here's
That's
the
what
thing,
they're gonna do.
some important context. In the entire history of the Hugos, going all the way back to 1953 when the first ones were awarded, there have only been a total of 5 no awards given out until last year when another 5 were given out because of this.
It doubled.
It was the equivalent of nuking the soil in order to prevent the other side from having it. It was scorched earth.
Yeah,
and they cheered over it. They cheered wildly. Oh, we stopped those dirty... Even while saying, oh, yeah, plenty of people in these categories were deserving of the award. Then why didn't you give it? Oh, well, they were nominated by the wrong people. Fuck you. Make your own decision on basis of merit. Oh, we can't do that. We got to make a statement.
And that pissed off. See, that was the thing. The writers that had no chance to win the award because of these political reasons didn't side with them. They were pissed off. Could you imagine being that writer who's nominated for this award? Like, you don't know whether you were one or not. They nuked the entire category because
sit at right table, receive award. 1,000 bushels of no.
Yeah.
On top of which, they gave each and every nominee an asterisk award. Not just the puppy.
Yeah, add an insult to injury.
Well, that's the thing. Not just the puppy people, but absolutely all of them, while trying to say, well, this isn't calling the award into question, while introducing it using the sports analogy. Oh, in sports, if there's an unusual thing that happens in a year, we put an asterisk. Like it's special. No, in sports, the asterisk is specifically used to call into question the legitimacy of an award. That's what it's used for. And so everybody, even the people who had nothing to do with this, who got in there without any puppy support one way or the other, and they got a nomination, and even the people who got an award, oh, we're calling your award into question because reasons, fuck you.
Yeah, and it's
that pissed off a lot of people. So it's only going to snowball. They either give people they either run the award show and give people the awards, even if they give it to the people who they don't like. Even if they give it to the people they do like, and they fix the award show or whatever, those awards have to come out, or it's going to get so much worse.
As an author, I right now, I mean, a couple of years ago, the Hugos that hung really high for me. That was, if I'd ever won that would be, the equivalent of making it. But now, no.
The award doesn't mean anything.
No,
the award isn't for good writing. The award is for good writing and having right things. Therefore,
don't you think that you would like to be up there with quality, just amazing presentations like My Little Pony, the Cutie Map,
or that gay porn writer,
Space Raptor Butt Invasion?
Yes. Space Raptor Butt Invasion got nominated for a Hugo. Thank you very much. You just proven my point. It's no longer about the best science fiction or the best fucking fantasy. It's
whatever agenda they want to push.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then you're basically just it's the same thing with a lot of I work both in the movie industry and in the
You're
literature.
roboting right now, dude.
Oh sorry, am I roboting now?
Not for me.
Okay.
Sounds good to hear.
Okay, I think it's just on Articus's side. But anyways, the thing in Hollywood that has gone askew something awful like since the McCarthy era is that now young actors or young actresses, if they feel like coming out with some sort of political stance, they can't come out as conservatives or right wing at all. Fuck it, forget about it. You can't have
unless they've already got a big following, like let's say Baldwin.
Yeah, but that's different. I said young. I mean, Adam Baldwin had to make it, and he is not high up in Hollywood. I bet my ass that there are young starlets and stars that are actually interested in voicing a conservative point of view, but they can't.
They don't. No, that's one of the first things you learn whenever you're trying to sell yourself as a brand.
Yeah.
is to not reveal your political alliance whatsoever. You don't talk in either direction.
No, exactly. But there are certain things that are okay to talk about
It's
in
bad for
Hollywood.
business.
Yeah. It would be bad for business, and it should be bad. I mean, that's why I lean left, but I don't necessarily let that reflect in my writing because
It's going to polarize at least part of your audience for reasons that have nothing to do with what you're actually producing.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And if you limit yourself to writing from an ideological standpoint, you can't have varied characters. And you can't produce a rich fucking world.
Which is what happened to the Hugo list even before the Sad Puppies and Rabid Puppies came along.
Yeah.
In fact, it was part of what led to their formation. They were seeing things like, "If you were a dinosaur, my love." If you've ever seen this, it was just a short story, which doesn't have any science fiction in it, and it only counts as fantasy in that the entire thing is a daydream. It's a daydream of somebody who's sitting by the bedside of their significant other who got beat up by a bunch of bigots, and he is fantasizing about their loved one turning into a human-sized T-Rex to go and kill the bigots. And then it just gets really fucking weird from there. But it's all in the guy's head. There's no science fiction. It's barely fantasy. It's just laden with my lover here is like trans or something like that.
Yeah,
they're trans and they're of an exotic race or whatever. And this whole thing was virtue signaling. Boy, I sure would like to kill some bigots in a creative way. Oh, give that guy a Hugo nomination.
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon we could write a book that they would absolutely drool over using that exact formula.
It's already been done.
Get the award, and then they'd flip their shit when he's around. Oh yeah, I support Gamergate.
Yeah.
That should be your acceptance speech.
On the stage, yes.
Yeah. You just walk up.
It's like that Kotaku job. Like Kotaku was trying to hire writers.
This award goes to ethics in gaming journalism.
That's actually what this entire award.
Like Kotaku was trying to actually hire people to write for them.
Yeah, they can't. They can't find people anymore.
And they were trying to because people are leaving. Because, sinking ship.
Company. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, if Gawker goes under, with it, why would you sign on?
Yeah. It's just...
And what's funny is that that's why they have to advertise that they need writers. Now, the thing is, like people were saying, it would be fucking hilarious if you took this job and then, your first article was that you were a pro gamer.
You would never see the light of day.
And went in the whole thing.
Yeah,
just nowadays, to troll them after like 6 months.
Nowadays, if you have some semblance of fame, people are gonna dig into your past online, and they are.
No, you'd have to. There are plenty of people who are anonymous that could do it.
Yeah. Of course. Or you could, you could post it under a pseudonym as well. So,
like on the Mary
Sue. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was epic.
What? The Mary
Sue? If they'll post a guy pretending to be a black woman,
yes,
learning how to with a fake article about learning how to drive from Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes.
Then they'll print anybody who's pretending to be what they think they want to see.
As long as they're hitting all the right notes. And then he came out later and they're like, "Oh, we were taken in by this horrible individual." Yeah, you were. That's the point.
Yeah. That's because you have no fact checking at all. As long as it's right think, you'll post it.
It literally, the editorial process was, how can we make this snappier and more sexist?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's how can we make this more stereotypically black woman sassy? Was that the note?
It's like, hell, I could write for Otaku.
No. It was actually he was saying that initially he thought that the article would not get past the editors without them calling bullshit on him. And they actually came back and said, no, this is not ridiculous enough. You need to make it more ridiculous. They didn't put it that way, but they wanted him to go more over the top than he had.
Oh, Kotaku.
Yeah.
No, Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Mary Sue.
That was true of the guy who was writing for Mary Sue too.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. I said Kotaku because I always mix those two up. It's so easy.
These were two separate incidents, right? You had the black learning to drive Grand Theft Auto thing, and then you had this other person posing as a feminist for the Mary Sue with bullshit.
Yeah.
And
he said he's going to do it again. He's probably writing for one of these sites as we speak.
That glorious faggot.
Yep.
He's
Has
doing
anybody
it again.
seen what Godfrey Elfwick is up to these days? Has anybody checked in
No,
on
here's the thing. Here's what's funny about Godfrey Elfric is that he has a following that doesn't realize that he's a troll still.
I mean, you gotta be kidding. There are not.
He still works.
You gotta understand the mindset here. These are people who, even if they see something like that doesn't sound quite right, they don't want to call out their allies.
Yeah, but
they think their allies are.
There are pictures of him admitting, screen caps admitting that he's a troll before he quit the first time.
Revisionist history.
Remember what Arthur Chu said about becoming an SJW stormtrooper. You have to engage in mind killing every day. You have to put aside all consideration of calling out people on your own side because it's all about winning.
Yeah,
I'm just. What he said too about
speaking of which,
changed overnight, he would still be angry.
Yeah.
So even if he got his own way, he still wouldn't be happy.
Speaking of which, what the fuck happened to him? He's been quiet as fuck. Did he finally get the counseling or the medication that he needed?
Probably. I mean, his twin, Ian Miles. Ever since Ian came on the other side, I sort of stopped paying attention to Arthur. So, yeah.
In fact, the only time I ever hear anything about Arthur is usually when Ian will, he'll say something mildly idiotic, and Ian will call him out.
Yeah.
Which is just like snap.
That's because Ian has to do it because people kept confusing him for him.
Yeah.
I think that's the real reason he decided to switch sides. Because wait, whoa, I'm not that guy.
God damn it, Arthur! God damn it, stop.
Yeah, and
yeah, he has.
Speaking of Ian, he's a good egg. He was one of those who realized where it was heading, I think, and saw maybe that either that the money wasn't worth it, or that he actually had an epiphany, as he said, playing.
Yeah, Ian has a lot of the same ideals. He's just not willing to be an authoritarian. Fuckhead.
And that's
to
exactly
achieve the goals.
Yeah, and that is exactly why I don't mind. I mean that's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't mind people having opposing political opinions to me as long as we can talk about it without using fucking using ad homonems every
censorship.
Time. Censorship
and trying to ruin people's lives. And
yeah, exactly. Because I have a lot of. Here's the thing. I want equality on the same level as a lot of social justice warriors want, but I think we've mostly achieved it. And most of the bitching and complaining about now are minor gripes and details. And yes, we can fix that.
In the West, yeah. There's still places in the world that need this.
Yes,
that requires
absolutely.
Actual effort and actual bravery and actual work. And they want to look like they're doing something on social media rather than doing something.
I think with Ian, what happened was he and Arthur Chu were locked arm in arm, and Arthur was doing the running toward the cliff to drag the entire gender into the sea with him, and Ian kind of went, fuck that, puts on the brakes.
Yeah.
Like, Screech, there's a cliff coming up. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I think he pretty much realized that it was
And
going to
and
shit.
and speaking of like going back to the sad puppy stuff and propping up people who do not deserve to be in their profession,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what happened with the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh God.
Oh.
I see
You know what
you want to
happened with this, and it's probably good. And I'm calling it now because nobody said anything about it. What happened with the Powerpuff Girls is they put a lot of people in positions of power to work on that show that weren't qualified because of ideological reasons. It's
And it
obvious.
shows.
It's gonna come out soon. It hasn't
It's
really busted yet
very
because everybody hates the show. Everybody hates the show. The
Power
kids that they're
Man
trying to
girls.
pander the kids that they're trying to pander to by trying to seem hip hate the show. The people who loved the show from 20 years ago can't stand the show. It's not just badly written, it's badly animated. It's lazy. There's like I've
look when
posted stuff up on Twitter about like just like cell clipping and just lazy work
Are
that
you saying that
there's no way.
ideologues don't know how to work hard?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I I, I
you got
kind of
this job
imply that
because
with
you knew
just
who.
yeah, that's basically that's basically how it what happened, and it's going to come out that like because nobody's defending the show right now, and they're not using a defense to defend how bad the show is yet. But it's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. I'm calling it right fucking now that they're going to be like, oh well, the only people who don't like the show are sexist
Yeah.
or racist, and the people who are going to be saying this are going to be the animators that fucked up this show.
It's not me. It's you. It's all you people. The I don't know if I said this on the last show, but there's a thing. I really think that this goes back to the reintroduction of radical chic from the 70s.
Yeah.
These people are all. It's all about virtue signaling. It's all about that. It's my friends are into this. The more radical the politics, the more chic it is, especially if you are upper middle class,
Yeah.
especially if you are a trust fund kitty. You don't have anything else going for you. You've done nothing in your life. You've slacked your way through life. All you really know is how to do is bitch. So what are you really going to do to stand out? You're going to have more radical politics than everybody else, and then you're going to lionize all the people who have radical politics. It's like, oh, that's great. I'm for that right there. Oh, I'm a terrible person. Yes, I recognize how terrible I am. That's how morally upstanding I am.
And that's what's so funny about it with the Powerpuff Girls is it's so badly written that half the storylines go against that stupidity. Like when the Powerpuff Girls are twerking, and
Why would they twerk?
Man.
Are you kidding me? Did they twerk?
oh god, I don't want you to look for the clip because I don't want to do that to you as a person because that's mean. Like you don't need it in your life, Jen. You still have
They
some
did.
some love for humanity there. You still have some hope that human beings are completely shit, and that clip would destroy you.
It's like a repeat of the Fire Emblem's mess with Treehouse, where you had. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
this
it's
is a
that
really
bad.
interesting conversation. We'll replace it with nothing but dots for 15 replies. Or
This
the
conversation is about or this conversation is a political commentary, but we're going to make it about twerking Powerpuff Girls, or
Oh my fucking god! Why did
we're
I
going to
do
replace
yeah, it's
we're going to replace interesting storylines with throwaway memes and outdated references.
Oh my fucking god! Why did I do
Basically, yeah.
that?
You watched it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I told you not to, Jen. I warned you. No!
Oh my fucking god!
He told you. He told you.
I need a brain enema.
You were warned, motherfucker.
Oh god.
You were warned.
Oh, come on.
You
That's
never
like
listened to
warning
me.
someone not to Google blue waffle. It's gonna happen as soon as it's mentioned.
Blue waffle.
Oh God, no! You did it again. See this? No.
The stupidity is fucking spreading. God damn it! Someone stop
That's
it!
how it spreads. Just don't even talk about it. I know. I feel bad for even bringing up the Powerpuff Girls.
And now Red Keld is writing in chat. Stop throwing logic at it. That's my problem. I keep throwing gasoline on the fire by trying to logic my way out of
You're
this.
trying to logic your way out of nonsensical situations, and I have to remind you. And like some of the frame stuff, like despite the just bad writing, and I mean bad writing, which Cartoon Network has been on a bad writing kick for like
it's not writing,
decade and a half now. Like even if the writing were good, the animation is so badly done.
It's cultural appropriation of Chan culture.
Are you gonna go on your
I don't even know how to react. I don't even know how to react to that bullshit. Like that.
Yeah.
That like made one of my butt cheeks deflate. That was that bad.
It's just God.
Go and have a protest, and you're just throwing hot pockets at him.
No, it's the situation. Like
the problem is they're not doing it for free.
Like there's this one pic where Buttercup is basically walking down the sidewalk, but Buttercup is like 5 times as big as she's supposed to be, and she's supposed to be in front of this other character, but half of her cell is in front of the guy that she's next to, and like the other half of her cell is behind the guy. Like stuff that would like you would catch in your first year of animation class.
What about the one where the chick's clipping through the door frame?
Oh yeah. Or where or Buttercup is cut in half in the frame.
Or the one with the missing eyeball. You can see the background behind the eye.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. The iris is missing. It's not colored in. The little white dot, they didn't color it in, so
just
it's just transparent.
Stuff that you would catch, and like you like.
I mean,
your first class of animation.
Yeah.
Like you would catch this stuff.
South Park manages to put an episode out in 6 days, from writing to finish work. How the fuck do how do they
But they're
manage
talented
it?
people, Jan. Stop throwing logic at it, Jan.
Because they just don't give a fuck.
I fucking hate
the people at South Park are talented. They are talented. The people who work on South Park are extremely talented. You don't get on that show without being fucking awesome because everybody wants to animate for South Park. Everybody wants to be on that show.
And the thing is, I mean, it started out as a completely foobar, fucked up animation, which was literally construction paper.
Yeah.
Construction paper cutouts.
And it's still the old original versions, the original episodes of South Park are better animated than the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Right now.
How do you manage this?
I mean, in order to do that animation, not with the construction paper, it still requires talent.
I think what may be going on here. I think what might be going on here is these people are looking at shitty animation elsewhere that is enjoyed ironically and thinking that's what people want.
Yeah, and this is a good segue. It's the exact same thing surrounding the WoW controversy with the nostalgia server.
Nostralius?
Yeah, the Nostralius thing is that, yeah, they're enjoying the nostalgia of it, so therefore people think that, if WoW can just remove some elements of it and introduce the pristine server, which they have been talking about as of late. That was a really bad segue. I'm sorry.
It's not gonna happen.
No, but they've actually started discussing it. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but at least
Only because they lost money.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, how many people were on that server? I think it was like,
But aren't they approaching
like,
the end of the expansion pack anyway? So they would naturally dip in subscription. So I don't necessarily.
No, it wasn't just that. It was normally that's like a subtle thing. It's not a big dive the way they got a big dive. It was noticeable.
Yeah. Okay. So it was pretty.
This
effective.
is like on the order of, yeah. It's like being in California and suddenly you get one big quake after 20 years of nothing.
Yeah.
You know you're in a quake zone. You know it's going to happen, but then bam.
Yeah. It's just it's just I've never played
There's
WoW,
too much
so
competition.
I've never
There's
played
too much
WoW,
competitions with MMOs now.
Well, so many of them tried to knock off WoW in various forms.
And did it better, because there's MMOs out there that are more vanilla WoW than what WoW is now.
Well, true.
And you can't do anything, like, because WoW's been bleeding subs for a while now. It's a game that's on the way out because there's only so much you can do with a property, and they've basically run out of things to do. And it happens to every MMO eventually.
About the time that I got my Worgen's top hat and realized, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you could have survived off of were those legacy people who were going to be playing until the day they die. They would have been playing until you finally shut down the servers, which happens with MMOs eventually, where they finally kill it off and they're not making enough money and enough people in there that even, like, you're not even adding new content anymore. Like, they stopped making content for Final Fantasy XI just recently, and people were celebrating, that they let the people who are playing the game still play the game and whatnot. And you just retire the game and shut it down eventually. And WoW's heading to that. And the last thing you want to do is piss off the people who have been there since the beginning.
If nothing else, it's terrible PR.
Yeah. And
but here's the thing. I sort of get their argument as well, because it is their IP, and if they don't defend it, they might lose the fucking trademark.
Well, okay, the trademark they have to protect.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But the trademark wasn't really the issue here. I mean, they could actually drop the trademark per se and still roll with what amounted to vanilla servers. That was really more cosmetic than anything else. Because the trademark is literally just saying, we are this company and we are a symbol representing this product. That's all a trademark really is. It's not the game per se. It might be the loading screen to the game.
Yeah.
That would be
and it would be so easy to just do this vanilla server, because it's not demanding. It's the very first version of the game.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Do they still? I mean, the problem might be that they don't have the code anymore. I mean, that sounds weird, but it might actually be the case that throughout updates throughout the last 10 years, they've lost the fucking code.
That is actually kind of their argument. They're claiming that to do vanilla WoW, they would have to integrate all of this stuff and essentially remake the game to have these guys. It's like, no.
No, they could just download it from you.
What are virtual servers? What are the Nostralius code?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the argument that, we can't possibly license this, that's too complex. You don't know fucking licensing law. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah, it was obvious that they just wanted to force people onto what WoW is now, where it's just
Don't be on their
Which
server.
I
Be on our
hate, by
server.
the way. Which
yeah.
I hate. Everything after Wrath of the Lich King, I absolutely abhor, and I will never pay for it. Ever.
Yeah, but then again, here's
But
the
don't you
thing.
want to play as a panda?
No, I don't.
You bastard.
I'd like to play.
But
I'd
they're
like to play
pandas.
vanilla so I can play hunter and be skilled at it.
I'm
I'd
a
like to
furry,
play
I don't
They're
want
vanilla
to
so you know.
pandas.
Yeah,
Fuck your
but still, here's the thing. It is
Who
their
wouldn't want to
I.
be a lumbering, lazy fat ass in a
Yeah.
game in a fantasy game where you can be whatever you want?
uh, here's the thing. It is their IP, and they are free to defend it as they choose. And
Oh yeah.
I get both
They are.
sides on. I get both sides on this, and I totally understand both sides. It's
They
why
are,
I've
but
been-
what I'd like to say at a Blizzard is, well, you're free to do that. That you're within your rights to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that and not supplying a vanilla server, I will no longer be paying for your product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
and that's your
Which they
freedom
can-
as a
it's
consumer.
literally
That's your freedom as a
it
consumer.
literally is the okay. As a business person with any kind of sense, your immediate reaction would be,
How
okay,
can we make money off of
yeah,
this?
how can we monetize this? Because it's a server where you don't have to do anything, you don't have to work on anything, you don't have to change anything or add anything new.
you don't have to do any updates. All you have to do
You
is
don't have
run
to
the
do
server.
any updates. You don't have all you have to do is run a freaking server and let money come in.
Yeah, and
I don't know how you don't sit there and be like,
Literally
hey,
leaving money on the table.
Yeah, but they
That's,
have
that's the
been.
business line.
They
About
have.
leaving money on the
Okay.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But according to some people, I can't remember where I heard this. I think it was Krendor who talked about it. They have the people at Blizzard have been talking to people from the server, from Nostarius or Nostalgerus. I can't remember the name right now, and they might be setting up the pristine server anyway. But the reason why they haven't, the reason why they wanted or needed to shut down that server was because of the problem with trademark. If they hadn't defended it because the server got too big, they could have lost the trademark. They could have lost their.
but
Yeah.
it would have been so easy to just go to them behind the scenes and integrate them and
Nice and
honestly
quietly.
give them jobs. Quietly give them jobs, hire them to take care. Like, listen, you guys are doing your own thing. We could shut you down, but we'd rather just hire you and bring you into the fold and make money. And you wouldn't even have to pay. These were people who were doing it for free in the first freaking place.
Yeah.
You would barely have to pay them anything.
Something that I've been seeing as an ongoing trend when it comes to just IP management in general is that companies that have a nearly or total 100% control over something don't seem to like doing licensing anymore. They don't want to do it unless it's something that they themselves would never do. Like, well, we don't do merch, so we'll license the merch to you and you give us a cut.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actual game development, game design, game anything, it's like, no, if we're not doing it, fuck you. We don't want you touching this.
Yeah, exactly. They abandon the IP rather than actually allowing somebody else to work on it.
Yeah.
Well, that can
People
go
want to throw
worse
money
on
at
the
it,
opposite
but like, no, we don't
direction
want
if
your
you think
money.
about it.
Yeah.
It-
I mean,
it's
if you
tough,
look
but
at
it's really a matter of
BioWare-
control.
Yeah, if BioWare is a good example. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it can turn out badly, and you can damage a brand by trying to push something out, which I wish a lot of more companies would, keep in mind before they push out other crap. That you can damage an IP where you were making money off of, something that was a legacy, and
Other-
now you're ripping it to shreds.
Other crap? Are you
Fucking
are you attacking the otter while he's not here?
That's an udder, not otter. Thank cows.
Yeah. It's just
Now you get me
I
thinking of
totally
otter nipples.
yeah.
Don't
I
you bring my torn into this, goddammit.
Oh God. No, but anyway, I think it's a
Oh.
I think it's a far more complex discussion than
It is.
than people
It
have.
is.
I don't necessarily think it's Blizzard's being evil. Is being
It was
EA.
how they handled it that was the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I.
And the
It's just.
flippant attitude they
This
gave to
is
people.
this is the other thing I've been noticing, and we were talking about the Gearbox versus GoBA thing as well, and I was seeing it over there.
Yeah.
It's like
Gearbox
when
so
you
hard.
when you have the actual developers and they're working with the actual fans and they're actually putting something together themselves, they're cool. But the second a lawyer gets involved,
Yeah.
as soon as that happens, it's like the lawyers are telling them, "No, lock everything down." It's like the Madagascar thing, shut everything down.
Yeah.
And
I think Shakespeare had a point. Kill all
as
the
far as what to
lawyers.
do with
Yeah. If you want to create a perfect world, kill all the lawyers. It's no. Don't chat. Don't run amok with that.
What-
Listen.
What do you
I
call
already have.
It's too late, Jan.
we
What do
do
you
not
call 1,000
endorse
lawyers
the
up to their
murder
necks in
of,
concrete?
We
Not
do
enough
not
concrete.
endorse lawyer genocide.
we would appreciate it, but we do not endorse it.
No, we do not. Unsolicited opinions do not want to kill all lawyers.
All right, time to change the subject. I wanted to bring up.
No.
All right, and I, because I've been talking about this, here and there and whatnot about King of Fighters and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just a couple of days ago, the real hammer went down, where they were flat out making fun of Capcom.
Oh. Let me just get the popcorn, because Capcom and you. That's always
Okay, like they were doing questions and answers, and they were like, not having an arcade mode would be that seems dumb for that's kind of tradition. What kind of fighting game wouldn't have an arcade mode? And then it was like this, like you can imagine if they were in the room with it, that they just turned to the camera and smiled. It was so great. And they finally released like the features for the game.
Yeah.
And they have like 3 different like arcade modes. And every team has its own storyline mode. And they have tournaments day one, which was one of the things that I forgot to bring up. That was an awesome feature of Third Strike when it came out.
Okay.
When they re-released Third Strike for PS3 and Xbox 360, they had a tournament mode, and what it was matchmaking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where basically they'd create a 6-man tournament.
Cool.
And then 2 people would get a bye, and then you would watch the fights. And then when it was your turn to fight, you would fight, but then if you lost, you would watch the rest of the tournament. But if you won, you got to compete, and you could earn points and whatnot to unlock stuff in the game.
That is really cool.
And yeah, it's a really awesome feature that they're putting in King of Fighters 14. And it's like all of this, like they listed off the features and the things that the game is going to have at launch. Now, there are going to be some DLC characters for the game, but I'm less frustrated with that, considering you're getting 50 characters from the freaking start. And it's one of those situations where it's like like I said, blood in the water. Like they're adding characters. There's characters in this game that are from Samurai Showdown and other properties that they want to bring back and do stuff with.
Wow.
It's like we're going to throw everything at this and see if we can't dethrone the king.
That is awesome. That is the way to do it. Okay? That's the correct way to do it. You see somebody fucking up, and then you learn from it.
They also have probably one of the coolest features I've seen in a fighting game, if it works. And I don't think I've ever seen it done before in anything else. All right, with fighting games, there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And some fighting games have a noob mode where basically you can press a button and it does automatic combos. But they don't let you. They don't let you while you're controlling that character have all access to all your movesets and everything you can do.
Yeah, Killer Instinct
Like
has that. You have to pick which particular combos you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you can do stuff, but you can't.
Do all the
If you
stuff.
go against somebody who knows what they're doing and are playing the real way, you're gonna get freaking creamed. But you still stand a chance with just and you can have fun with the game and play it and whatever and be on the way. But you'll never
That is
beat
really
somebody
cool.
who's legitimately good. And what the new option they're having is basically a mentor mode. Basically, they do an online matchup where you basically are on mic with somebody who's really good at the game, who teaches you how to play it.
Wow.
A
That could be
person,
cool.
like, and basically you get rewarded for helping people and teaching people how to play the game
Will that mode be
in
called
a
the
fighting
Sensei
game.
mode? Will that?
I think it's I forget what exactly they're calling it,
Yeah.
but
The
it's the
get good
perfect
mode.
solution. It's the perfect solution to get people into the game without having to deal with that massive learning curve.
If they
Because
don't have a button that says "Get Good" that goes to that, I'll be disappointed.
I think that's the instant combo button where you just press square.
Oh yeah.
That's the get good button. But it's the kind of thing where before, like if you wanted to get good at a fighting game, you would sit in a lobby with 8 people and you would just watch matches and watch the strategies and play against these people and slowly get better and slowly learn your character and whatnot. But now you can do that, but you have separate rooms set up specifically to learn. And it's an experiment.
That is cool.
Dojos.
I think that will be really cool. That is
It's
a positive way of treating new play or new gamers or new
and I've
players
seen
of the
it
game.
work in other kinds of games like MMOs and whatnot, and it's going to be interesting to see how if it works properly when the game comes out. And I'm almost tempted to buy it just to see how this works because I'm unaffiliated with the series so much. It was never really my main fighting game, and I still have trouble with some of the mechanics, but it's going to be interesting to see how that mode turns out. And if it works, it'll probably be a staple.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to see some actual innovation for a while.
Yeah, and
At least they're attempting it.
yeah, especially in today's cultural
Cookie cutter
climate.
thing.
Yeah, it the the culture of doing whatever the competition is doing to sort of keep up with them is it's not creating anything new, and I like that.
And
I like that a lot.
speaking of which, I would just like to point out that I'm really tired of PT clones at this point.
Yeah, PT clones.
Everybody's trying to make a fucking PT clone, and none of them are as good as the this is PT.
It's like DC trying to be Marvel all over again. I'm just saying
Oh, are
it.
we really gonna get into that episode?
No, no,
You
we
really want to
know.
open up that Pandora's box?
No, because we went through it over and over again last podcast. Uh,
Oh, speaking of which, apparently, Captain America, Civil War is apparently really friggin' good. So
yeah, I'm
yeah,
looking
DC's
forward
kind
to
of
Spoilers, I
fucked.
watching
don't
it.
say it till Sunday. I don't say it till tomorrow. So you spoil that, I kill you.
I haven't seen anything. You guys spoiled the movie for me, and there will be blood.
No worries. I haven't watched it yet, so I'll watch it.
But
This
the good
weekend.
thing I'm hearing from it is they're basically saying that it's obvious that Marvel is controlling the new Spider-Man movie, and the people at Sony that are shit that like to ruin shit hopefully don't get involved
Yeah,
and don't get to touch the Marvel property.
that's
I will never
exactly.
forgive Sony for fucking up Star Wars Galaxies beyond all recognition.
Yeah, but
Ugh.
they actually have said that the creative force behind the Spider-Man movie is Kevin Feige, who is the head of Marvel
Yeah,
Studios.
as long as Feige has control, then I have faith in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Because he'll be the one to say to those owners, like, you can go fuck yourself. We've been doing it right. You've been doing it wrong. Here are my balls on your forehead.
That's very good. Did you want to talk about the Duke Nukem thing before I make my...
I don't even know what's going on with that, so I want to. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wrote up a thing for Tech Raptor, which is Duke Nukem Dust Up Gearbox versus GoBA. I don't even know if I'm doing his name right. I apologize if I'm not. But essentially, GoBA is the guy who came out with eDuke 32 back in the day, which allowed you to actually continue playing the Duke Nukem games on newer platforms. Because it's just, the oldest stuff just stopped working when you got away from like Windows 95 and so on. So he kept developing this, and eventually him and 3D Realms, when 3D Realms still had the property, started working together, and he started putting together ports and stuff, and he's done quite a bit of code that actually worked into the more recent Steam version, which was a collection called the Megaton Edition of Duke Nukem. So he had contributed this code, and he also I've seen like 5 contracts that this guy had with 3D Realms. So of course 3D Realms has Duke Nukem bought out from them by Gearbox, and this is where things start to go south because Randy Pitchford, right? And I'm not even kidding, because Randy Pitchford's name is on virtually every agreement that I've seen having to do with the transfer of rights. He's balls deep in whatever was going on.
He's just balls, really.
Balls of something other than steel.
Balls of Play-Doh.
Balls of That's very terrible. That's very terrible. But the thing is that GoBA apparently still had his contract from 3D Realms. He had like the contract to port stuff to Android, to get like the Duke Nukem Hail to the King collection onto the Android platform and various other ports. And then Pitchford comes along and said, your license is not real. Well, what do you mean it's not real? It just isn't. Well, I have this letter dated like March 2016 this year from 3D Realms saying that my contract was transferred to you guys as part of your settlement in 2015 over this whole mess. No, it's totally not legit, but you can cut a contract with us and we'll bring you on board. And he's like, okay, what's the NDA for that look like? You should have a lawyer look over our NDA. I have a lawyer. He's looking over the NDA. I'd like to discuss it. You better get in line or our lawyers are going to start talking to you. This is how things devolved. This is a guy who's already put in his chops. He's got code. He's deeply involved in the IP through the 3D Realms era. And even the folks over at Gearbox, they were trying to cut a consulting deal with him, like $2,500 up front and $500 a month to, quote, ask random questions.
Oh, really?
Seriously. Okay, here's what they actually
Because
said.
he was competition. That's the thing. He's the type of guy that could have.
Not actually competition. Like I was talking about before, he had a license that they didn't have direct control over because it had supposedly been assigned to them as part of the settlement. You see? So it's like, we owe you access, but you don't owe us anything, and we don't like that. Here's the actual quote from them. Here's the Gearbox quote to GoBA. You helped us understand our source code options and actually locate them, which we were having a lot of trouble doing. It's possible you could help us again during development too. You're one of the most knowledgeable people about Duke. You care about it. You should get to impact the new episode and weigh in on our engine updates. So it's like they wanted to work with him. This is what I was saying before about the people actually in the dev process and the fans who are busting their butt to actually make the IP better. Because
They wanted his work, but they wanted to control him.
The lawyers wanted to control him. This is where the NDA thing came in. He started saying,
Are we back to the lawyer genocide thing again? Because
damn near. Because here, okay, and the thing is, I wouldn't found out anything about this. Nobody would have heard anything about this.
I just have a hard time believing it's not all Randy Pritchard's fault. Somehow.
Well, let me put it this way. He got into a fight with a transsexual squirrel on Twitter. And that's how that's how this
just
came
the imagery of that in my head. The imagery of that in my head was worth this entire conversation. Someone needs to make fan art of that right now.
It is beautiful to watch. Here is Lady Fuzztail just going off on him. How dare you screw this guy over? And Randy actually feels the need to defend himself against her. I guess when you get an irascible squirrel in your face on Twitter, you just have to like respond. So he's saying he's already disparaged and caused damage and violated confidentiality. I have told lawyers not to go after him for now. I'm like, really? Well, I happen to be a reporter with Tech Raptor. Would you like to make some comments there? And he's like, you need to contact our press. And of course, we never heard back from them. We gave them almost a damn week to respond. And nothing back from them, including after reminders. So, yeah, Randy and his people apparently realized that he kind of fucked up with all this public ranting that he did. And as far as I can tell, they just wanted this whole thing to go away because as far as they're concerned, this all goes back to the settlement details, which they want to stay confidential. But I'm sorry,
Christ.
Randy.
Can't Gearbox go fucking 6 months without some type of legal trouble?
Exactly. It's these settlement terms that GoBA's deal revolves around because according to 3D Realms, your shit's been assigned to Gearbox because of this. He needs to know. No, you don't. You need to just bend over. That your license doesn't have any value. Show me. No. Well, fuck you then. I'm going to go ahead. He has already said, I'm going to go right ahead and publish the Android version of Hail to the King collection. And if you don't like it, you can come after me and sue me. That's, hail to GoBA, motherfuckers.
Yeah. There is always a problem when business or suits get involved in creative works. It just...
So in other words, buy it as soon as it comes out before it's taken off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. Within hours of it being launched, I reckon.
Yeah.
And if you want the full story, it's on techraptor.net.
The article
Chill.
Yeah, the articles, the link to the article is actually in the description now, so, yay, hey. So you'll get 2 readers from this.
And they'll tell 2 readers, and they'll tell 2 readers, and so on.
And so on and so forth. Somebody's been watching Wayne's World.
You calling us a snowball, I find racist. Or a fudge ball.
So we're rocking ice, so we're a comet.
Yeah, we're a comet. Speaking of space stuff, I want to make one recommendation before we quit for the day, because I've been spending most of my week...
another ad.
Yeah, I've been spending most of my time on a nostalgia trip, and some of the shit that they address in the BBC series the BBC series Red Dwarf is still fucking pertinent today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here in that.
That's because it's good science fiction, because it's written well.
Yeah, it's good sci-fi comedy. It's perfect.
So why does it surprise you?
No, it doesn't really, but I thought I'd inform the younger generation probably went to bed.
Like, even when it came out, it was considered schlock because it wasn't considered written as well as other sci-fi shows. And it is leagues above anything that is written now.
Oh yeah. There are a lot of things in that show that you could not do anymore. There's a lot of jokes that the BBC now would never have allowed.
Same with Monty Python.
What?
Same with Monty Python or some of the classic Doctor Who
stuff. Oh yeah. Some of the classics.
Purple Rain.
Oh yeah.
I went back and watched Purple Rain, and That movie, there's a lot of women beaten in it.
Yeah.
Prince
It's,
is getting beat. His mom's getting beat. Prince is beating bitches, slapping hoes.
yep.
It's he's getting called a faggot. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
it's
like all the social justice warriors that went back and watched Purple Rain after Prince died probably got a rude fucking awakening.
They need to do a back to back. They need that followed by Blazing Saddles, and
yep.
maybe they would actually get a sense of humor.
And this time, I will not be fooled by joke articles written about people protesting Blazing Saddles. I will not be fooled by them. Not this time. Anyways, I think that's a very good way of ending the show. So, if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, where our Twitter handles are in the description, or the link to the Twitter profiles are in the description. And in addition, also Roy's article on the Duke Nukem Dust Stop is also in the description.
Woohoo!
And with me today has been Roy, Dr. Evil, and Artivus. And I've been your host, the Meerkat Monarch. And we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. And I'm not going to use the salt phrase on this because that's my channel. Anyways, bye-bye.
Penis.